Hey friends, I hope you liked the last video. I wanted to see if I could make something a little bit more mainstream, and I wanted to talk about why therapists in movies and TV are always bad, except for Robin Williams, who plays Sean in Good Will Hunting. That's a really excellent. He does some really excellent therapy in that movie. I think that it's one of the top 10 greatest movies of all time. Just a great film. Even in that, though, there's a scene where, um, you know, the Matthew McConaughey character insults his wife, and he like chokes him, which is not good to say the least. You could easily get sued for that, lose your license. But I also like it makes sense in the context of the situation. The guy is trying to be, a bit of a smart aleck, and um, you know, he just kind of loses cool, which can I mean, it's realistic, and you can lose your cool in a therapy session and like it not escalate to choking your client. Um, but other TV shows, it's always bad. Like every example that I can think of like five that I'm gonna go over. So in How I Met Your Mother, there's a therapist. I forget the actor's name. I apologize, but um, he like he starts dating Robin. The character's name is Robin. I don't know the actress's name, um, but he like hangs out with them for several episodes. He does say, "We're gonna date now, so I can't see you anymore as a client," which is, I mean, I guess the right thing to say, but like you're not under any obligation ever to date your clients, um, even after they've discontinued therapy. In Step Brothers, this is just coming to me as I talk about it. It wasn't gonna be one of the things that I was gonna mention, but in Step Brothers, she's just kind of like obviously the two brothers in Step Brothers are idiots, and so but the therapist is like the Will Ferrell character is trying to pursue a sexual relationship with her the entire movie, and she like gives it, she's like flirting with him at the end. She's like, man, he looks good in that pirate hat or whatever. And like that's just like, I understand it's a dumb movie, it's supposed to be funny, it is funny, and like but like there's so many other examples like that. In the How I Met Your Mother example, he starts hanging out with like her friend group, and he like analyzes them all, and he's like, you guys have some problems. um he wants to get married to her eventually. um it's just there's so many problems like, and he just like, and they make it clear in the beginning. He's like, oh yeah, I went to Yale and Harvard and like all these prestigious schools, but they didn't teach you to not have sex uh with your clients. Like that's the first thing I learned in ethics class. Like that was the one thing that she drilled into our minds. um and I mean, it's obvious, right? Obvious conflict of interest. Everybody know, like, even if you're not a therapist, you should know that your therapist is not going to sleep with you. It's just not going to happen, or at least it shouldn't. And if it does, it's very, very unethical, and it's a huge problem. In You, the TV show You, the main antagonist, I guess, that Joe, the serial killer guy, is up against in the first season is the therapist. He like frames, so she's cheating on him, right, with her therapist, and that's just there's so many, man, just so many issues with that. Because he's trying to help her through this relationship, and she just ends up having sex with him. Like that's not good. Um, Yeah, and then he turned like I think Joe visits him. This is like season 2 now. Joe visits him in jail, and he's like, "Aren't you upset that somebody framed you?" And you know, obviously he's the one that framed him, so he knows what happened. And the guy's like, he's like, "No, man, I'm not. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's like this, like he found religion, but not in a good way, right? Like he's like he it just makes him look like an idiot, right? And he's framed for her murder, which he didn't do. You obviously shouldn't kill your client, also, um, but definitely don't sleep with him. And you know, that's it's just, I don't know. There's so many, like, and What About Bob, which is another one of my favorite movies. He like ties him up in the forest and tries to he puts a bunch of explosives on him. So like that's obviously not good. Um, there's a bunch of ethical problems before that. Um, he lets him hang around his house, and I get like it's a movie, like it's supposed to be funny. I think it's funny. It's I thought it was hilarious the first time I saw it. Oh, like this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Um, and it is. It's hilarious. It really is. Um, but every single time, therapists are just made to look like idiots. It's amazing. Like, and we wonder why nobody wants to go to therapy. Um, or we present it like it's the bravest thing you've ever done, and there's no other. It's like we're going to war or something. No, you're just having a conversation. You gotta open up. You gotta talk about hard feelings. Like, it's not that crazy. Um, if this continues, I don't know if it will. It depends on how many people watch this and whatnot. Um, I want to do a deeper dive into 13 Reasons Why, but for now, I'll just talk about the therapist. Um, he's like, okay, so obviously therapists make mistakes. You could potentially make a mistake every session and be fine. Um, if it's a small mistake and, you're able to rectify it, obviously there are sessions that go better than others, and it's people are saying some people say whatever they want, so it's you got to react, you got to know what you're doing. And um it's a very reactionary field. Some mistakes can happen, but like the mistake in 13 Reasons Why, okay, so he is her 13th reason, her last reason as to why she commits suicide. um and she comes to him and she's just like, I feel like I'm in this dark place, I just want it to stop. It's like the cliche like language that you hear around suicide. um and he's like, well, that sounds really serious. um you and then he like lets it go. He's like, um what is there something that happened to you? And of course that there was something that happened to her. She was sexually assaulted. um but she doesn't want to name the person that um did it. And she's he's like, is it your fault, basically? Which is like, yeah, like take some accountability, but not in that way. um yeah, and then she goes home and kills herself, which is and like that's the problem too, is that we are often the last line of defense. Not always, but um therapists are the last line of defense for people that are struggling. And so like you really really have to watch what you say. And like it's later in the show, he's like, oh yeah, I'm just inexperienced and I've tried to like I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to be better. And he figures out who sexually assaulted her, and he like chokes him in the bathroom. And like again, like this is TV, it's supposed to be dramatized, like, but like you can't do that. You can like, and then there's this whole other storyline where he's trying to help him. He's trying to help him be better, and like, I don't know. It's just a whole mess of a situation. Um, and that's how it always is, and we wonder why people don't want to go to therapy. As the great Andrew Breitbart used to say, politics is downstream of culture, and like these are the depictions that people are seeing. It's not like the thousands of BetterHelp commercials that annoy everybody on YouTube. But it's the movies, and it's like, if you base your opinion on therapy just on movies, you would think that therapists have no self-control, that they're morons that like can't keep their hands off their clients. And like, I thought this was gonna be a bigger issue for me when I started practicing. But it's not. Like, you like, there's such a like, I don't even, it's hard to explain exactly, but there's such a discrepancy in what you know about them and what they know about you. It would never, like, I don't know, it just would never happen. And it's like not that hard. Like, you're there to help them. They're coming to you in a vulnerable position, a lot of the time, and it's just not. It's not that hard to not do it. Like, I worked really hard to get my degrees and to get my career. Like, I don't want to do anything to mess that up. I would never do anything, and it's not that hard to avoid. Like, everybody knows that this is not what we're here for. The other one that I wanted to talk about is a show I've been watching recently, and I watched it before. I like it, and I like a lot of these things that I've liked a lot of these shows that we've talked about. But this one probably a little bit less known of a show. Person of Interest. There's at least one therapist in there that I don't know if she's like placating to be a therapist or she's actually a therapist. I just watched the episode, but it's not clear like if she's actually a therapist or not. Nevertheless, she's like pretending to be a therapist to get at this AI machine that is like spies on everybody, and she's trying to like use it. It's a lot of power, and it can predict crimes before they happen. So like that's the whole show. So they're trying to stop crimes from happening to people. And she's the antagonist. She's trying to mess it up. But again, like, she's the therapist. And they're making her out to be like this evil mastermind. And she's, she comes fairly early on in the show, and then she's like the primary antagonist for the rest of it. So yeah, that's an issue. And then I believe there's another therapist in there that like he only sees for a short period of time because he's trying to stop bad things from happening to her or whatever. But he's like, they get to the point where she goes, "I can't see you anymore because I have feelings for you, and I don't know what to do about them." It's like, just figure it out. It's not that hard. I don't know. Like, and again, I get that these are dramatizations. They're supposed to entertain, but like, why is it that the therapist is always in a bad position? Always looks dumb. Looks like they have no self-control. Can't control their lust. Terrible home life. In Dexter, these are just coming to me as I'm thinking. In Dexter, there's an episode with a psychiatrist that's like, he's like an angel of death. He's like trying to, instead of counseling his clients away from suicide. He's like, I can stop this pain, and of course Dexter kills him because that's what he does. Um, but again, like, why like, can we at least have like a side character that's not terrible and doing something unethical, and um we wonder why people don't go to therapy. Like, these are the things that people are watching, and like, there's not a direct correlation. I get that, but like, we need to make more movies like Good Will Hunting. Of course, Robin Williams is one of the greatest actors of all time. Rest in peace. Um, but it's not that hard. Like, therapy is a very deep profession. There's a lot of good that can come from it. But like, why are I don't know. We just get painted in such a bad light. But those are my thoughts, and if anyone cares to comment on this, I would really appreciate it. Give me some other ones. That was not an exhaustive list. But like I said, the only good one I can think of is Robin Williams from Good Will Hunting, and it's just a really excellent role, and there's a lot of depth to it. But that's what I've been thinking about. And like, we have a crisis of nobody's going to therapy, nobody's connecting. Like, it's a crisis, and it is a crisis. I mean, it's real, it's true. Nobody goes to therapy. Nobody, at least people that should be going don't go, and people that are there, we are grateful and blessed for them. But more people should probably go give it a shot. It's not an all encompassing solution, but it is, potentially the beginning of a solution for a lot of people. And I have seen people make really great strides and improve their life. But we have to like clean up our image in movies and TV. Like, we gotta figure it. Like, you would think that these things happen every day, and like, it's just not the case. Like, you can expect professionalism and grace from almost all therapists. Right? I'm not saying that they never happen, or the one thing that I do like about you, I'm skipping around a lot, but the one thing I do like about you is like it's clear that his life is falling apart. And it's like the affair doesn't come out of nowhere, but like, and that is somewhat real in the sense that like, therapy is hard and it does take a toll. But like, that's like, people have to deal with it. Like, you gotta figure it out. That's the job. This is what we signed up for. We're here to help people. It can be difficult at times, but you shouldn't be making decisions like that. And then he ends up in jail for a murder he didn't commit. So didn't really end well for him, and I wouldn't expect it to end well if that was the case in real life. So but yeah, those are my thoughts. That's what I've been thinking about. Hopefully people understand where I'm coming from, or it is what it is. But we got to do better in the real world and in the entertainment world. That's really all I have. And your life matters, and you're not alone. And I hope you all have a good night. God bless.